Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we are back on the Medway Valley line by Firefly Simulations. And we are on the section of the Chatham Main Line that Firefly upgraded from the older Southeastern High Speed route. So yeah, this section of the Chatham Main Line that's included with the Medway is 13 miles long from Rainham to Gravesend. Rainham being the eastern terminus of the Luton to Rainham Thameslink services operated by the Class 700. So yeah, we're in the Class 700 today, going from Rainham to Gravesend. And yeah, despite this not being the actual Medway Valley Railway, yeah, it's still included with the route, and yeah, it's pretty decent. So let's hop in. All of the stuff with the route, you know, like the rolling stock that comes with the route, I should say, that comes with Southeastern High Speed. Sorry, I got updated with dynamic suspension. So the 395, the 465, the 700, and the older 375/9. And yeah, let's just put you on DC. We still don't have a route where we can run under AC power for any considerable length of time. The only place where we can run under overhead power in the Class 700 is on Peterborough to Doncaster for a few ECS moves out of Peterborough Yard to Peterborough Station. It's a bit ridiculous. Yeah. One thing I do like about the 700 compared to the 375 is this giant panoramic front windscreen. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we're here. We're going to go up there. So yeah, we've got Gillingham, Chatham, Rochester, Strood, Higham, Hoo Junction, and Gravesend. And if you're wondering what service we are doing, it is 9 Papa 30. And we're departing at 12 noon on the dot. So, yeah. I've actually already recorded this video once today with 9 Papa 28. I got all the way to the end of the service, plugged the file into my editing software, and I discovered that my voice hadn't been picked up by the game because it was set on the wrong microphone, which was really annoying. Let's actually get the windows down. Oh, and I should make sure the saloon lights are on, which they are. Right, 25 limit departing Rainham. We're departing from platform 0, which is quite interesting. You don't see too many platform 0s around. My personal favorite platform 0 is at Kyoto Station, Japan, where express services to my local area depart from. In Japan, that is. I haven't come across any platform 0s in the UK. There might be one at West Ealing for the Greenford branch, but I can't remember. Yeah. This is, honestly, the Class 700 is one of the more decent Dovetail Games DLCs that they've made over the years. Despite this DLC being nearly 3 years old, I think it stood the test of time. It doesn't have announcements or train faults, though. It does have dynamic suspension thanks to the recent update that came with Medway that updated all the older Southeastern high-speed stuff, which is nice. 2.5 miles to Gillingham. Clear up to 90 miles an hour, though I tell you right now, because we're on third rail, we will not make it anywhere near 90 miles an hour for our run today. Yeah, it's weird to see a bit of Southeastern High Speed, which I've driven on millions of times, with a different skybox and much better scenery. Mind you, the Southeastern High Speed scenery isn't bad per se, it's just old. That route, Southeastern High Speed, is 3.5 years old, and that's the updated version that came out with TSW6. There's a Train Sim World 2 version of Southeastern High Speed as well. Which, yeah, the route's been out for, I think, since like 2021. It's like 5 years old at this point, and the scenery, though decent, is showing its age. quite a bit. So Firefly have given this particular section a nice upgrade, I gotta say. See that 60 limit coming up. One annoying thing about this is, about the 700 is, it doesn't layer onto the Brighton main line unless you have a mod by trainsim.cz, and it doesn't have the 700/1 FLU 12 car version, just the /0 8 car, for whatever reason. Though, for operations on Medway and Southeastern High Speed, that's honestly not, it's not game breaking. Because, yeah. Because I believe, I may be wrong in this, I believe. Right, let's get a quick screenshot, why don't we? There's a 375/6. Yeah. Here's Gillingham Depot. It's nice to finally see the 700 with dynamic suspension for sure. Just a bit. Yeah, it's just a bit sad that this doesn't layer onto the Brighton mainline, even though the 700 is a Brighton mainline staple. Though, to be honest, since the East Coastway remaster, we don't know what the next remaster by Grunt Dog Games is going to be. Honestly, it could be a Brighton mainline remaster, we just don't know that yet. There's a 465 parked at the bay platform there. One interesting thing about this section of Southeastern High Speed is there's no layer for the Rail Operations Group Class 37. I think that's because of the chosen time period. By the time this route is set in 2026, there's no Southeastern White 375s left to repaint like in Southeastern High Speed. I do like those platform announcements. We're here for the next 2 minutes. My word. Yeah. I've ridden on a 700 myself, and I must say, like, the proportions, the colouring and everything of the of interior and exterior, spot on. Especially this really nice passenger information screen. What I can tell you is also accurate and is really nasty on the real one. Look at how little padding those seats have. That is realistic, by the way. Those seats are really underpadded. Cap door. Alright, 1 minute till we go. So, ironically, if I was in a Class 395 or in a 700, we'd both be going to via St Pancras International, except the 395 would be going via High Speed 1 and Ebbsfleet and Stratford International, while I'd be going via the classic lines and then through the Thameslink route up through central London. I think the only time I've ridden on a 700 was Farringdon to St Pancras. And then, yeah, but I wasn't going to St Pancras. I was doing, I was heading to King's Cross to catch a Grand Central Class 180, the James Herriot one, up to York for the National Railway Museum last year. So yeah, I have ridden on a 700 just for one stop. And it's nice to see a train that I've seen in real life represented so well in Train Sim World. It's just a bit sad we don't get the long one, you know? 1.2 miles to Chatham, there's a 30 warning board. Into the tunnel. Yeah. one nice thing is there's some broken lighting transitions on Southeastern High Speed for tunnels to this day, which thankfully what's their name? Firefly seemed to have fixed. Yeah, I don't think these are class 700 sounds per se. I think they're like off of the class 450 from TS Classic. But honestly, as it has a 700, I think they honestly do more than a good enough job for Train Sim World. Here's the Chatham Viaduct. Ironically, Chatham is actually the headquarters of Dovetail Games. And like, Chatham Station is just like a mile walk from Dovetail HQ. And considering that Firefly simulations are not a part of Dovetail, they've done a better job at making Chatham Station as realistic as possible than Dovetail did. Dovetail's Chatham Station on Southeastern High Speed looks worse than Dovetail's own Chatham Station, which is very funny, now that you think about it. But, to be fair, this scenery has 3 extra years of work of game development experience behind it. I do love the motor sounds. They're spot on. And what's even funny about these motor sounds, for some reason they only happen when the 700 is in DC power mode, because in AC power it's just a increasing whine. It's very interesting that the motors make this distinct sound only on AC power. Oh boy. I was aiming for the... Yeah, that's a slight overshoot. Whoopsie. Oh wow, we're here for a little bit. Let's wander out and have a bit of a look around. Got the track work rail vans over here. Not network rail, legally distinct. Yeah, I was aiming for this FLU stock marker without realizing it was the RLU. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah. Also, the advertisements that Firefly have done on the Medway are far better than the ones on Southeastern High Speed, because the ones there are just like on Southeastern High Speed just advertise the other routes in the Train Sim World 3 core package, like Cajon Pass. But yeah, these are like more realistic advertisements. They seem to be either actual Southeastern advertisements or Campaign Against Living Miserably, which is an actual charity and not just like a off-brand advertisement. Yeah, I've got the correct light setting, don't I? Yeah, I do. Well, don't exactly know how that works. There we go. Oh. We're gonna be late. Next stop, Rochester, in just under a mile. Up to 30 miles an hour. It's a pretty smooth launch even at full power. This section of line, it goes through quite a few tunnels as well, which is somewhat interesting, considering you don't see tunnels in Britain too often. And brakes are going to be my friend heading down this somewhat slight hill into Rochester. Very nice flange noises. Yeah, and this route does have quite a bit better performance than Southeastern High Speed did, despite having more scenery assets. Don't get why that is. I think it's just because Firefly are just really good at optimization. Yeah. I'll never cease to sing the praises of this route, because Firefly did an absolute bang-up job at making a worthy successor to Southeastern High Speed. I thought back in the day Southeastern High Speed was good. This just blows Southeastern High Speed clear out of the water. I must say, it's the best third rail route in the game. Like, genuinely. Right, 300 yards.
Platform 1 for the 12, 14, Thameslink, service to Luton, calling at Strood.
There's also services that go from Rainham to West Hampstead Thameslink, but they only depart at peak times because they don't go as far as Luton, I think.
Plumstead, Woolwich Arsenal, Charlton, Westcombe Park, Maze Hill, Greenwich,
Nailed it.
London Bridge,
Close enough.
London Blackfriars, City Thameslink, Farringdon, St Pancras International, West Hampstead Thameslink, Brent Cross.
Yeah. So this train is going to call at West Hampstead Thameslink before going on to Luton, but there are some peak time services that only go Rainham to West Hampstead Thameslink. Not entirely sure why. I think it's just for like increased density, service density. Yeah. For some reason Rochester Platform 3 doesn't get any services. I'm not entirely sure why. If that's realistic, please do let me know. Yeah, there's also, in comparison to Southeastern High Speed, there's a lot more buildings, a lot more under construction. There. Because, yeah, there's 7 years of difference in between this route and Southeastern High Speed. Southeastern High Speed is 2019, this route is 2026, so there is some difference. Honestly, there is actually one piece of missing rolling stock that I've just thought of that honestly Firefly could do as a gameplay pack and I would pay money for it. Where is a Southeastern class? What is it? I'm trying to remember what it was. Is it like a 370? No. It's like another variant of the Electra Star family, but I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. It's not a 375 because we already have that, but it's another variant of the Southeastern family, of the Electra Star family that Southeastern uses. There's a traffic light that actually works, pretty cool. And then also the Southeastern Class 707, which is just a 700 but slightly different and Southeastern brand and Southeastern liveried instead of Thameslink. Like, if we could get a gameplay pack that adds that new Electro Star variant, which goes in not paying, and also the what is it? And the 707, since they wouldn't need to be completely made from scratch, they could Firefly could just take the existing models and revamp them. Like, I'd be fine with that being a gameplay pack. And then if it could layer on both Southeastern High Speed on the Medway, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Because right now there are some missing links in the rail. And then, I've also just thought of something else. They could add the Class 700 FLU as well. I'm not against that idea. That'd be pretty cool. So, like, new Electro Star variant, Southeastern Class 707, and the Class 700 FLU as a layer for that would layer on Medway and Southeastern High Speed. I think that'd be pretty cool. The all marker, just want to nail that stop. Pretty close, and 30 seconds early. just under a minute here, and then we've got Higham and Gravesend. But yeah, we've got basically 2 really long tunnels. Higham, go past 2 Junction, and then Gravesend. Oh, I've never heard that announcement before. Saying that e-scooters are banned from trains. Fascinating. Wonder if that's due to the lithium batteries or just hooligans just driving them at ridiculous speeds. Next stop, Higham in 2.5 miles, most of which will be in a tunnel for some reason. Not entirely sure why. Yeah, we've got like a 2-kilometer tunnel, then a short gap, and then another tunnel. So yeah, we've got the 15 limit, and then once the entire train passes that 70 board, we're cleared up to 70 miles an hour, and I can give it the beans. Come on, buddy. Just need to crawl past that speed board and we're clear up to 70 miles an hour. There we go. Full speed ahead. This thing takes a while to accelerate even at full power. I think it's because we're on DC power. I think we'd have a lot more get up and go if we were on AC, because DC's only a paltry 750 volts. AC's 25 kilovolts, at least in the UK. I think in Japan it might be the same. Not for... there are hardly any third rail lines in Japan except for a few subways in major cities. But I think overhead lines power in Japan is 25 kilovolts AC. 55 miles an hour. Should be through these tunnels in a jiffy. As I'm recording this, Dovetail Live is actually offline for maintenance, so hopefully this run will actually count toward the mastery for Medway, because I want to see that little Grumpus wagon. There's a... there goes 395, short gap, and back into a tunnel again. That took us 2 kilometers, over 2 kilometers to get up to 70 miles an hour. That's pretty crazy. Coming up on Higham. We could stop pretty quickly, so I'm going to leave it for a minute. Just trying to control the speed here. Oh yeah, coming into the platform at 40 miles an hour, and I can guarantee we'll stop at the stop marker. That's one thing I love about the 700. It can stop on a dime if it needs to, which is very helpful at a lot of these stations. Especially with Higham, because you're going really quickly and then all of a sudden you have to slam on the brakes. Oh, hello. Too much brakes. That was a... yeah. One of the new features on the 700 is that if you're not careful and use too much braking, and you slow down too quickly, it can wheel slip even in dry conditions, as I just demonstrated there, which I did in my first attempt at recording this video too. this train is going to go on a long journey, considering it's going from Kent all the way up to Luton.
22, Thameslink. Service to
NPCs doing NPC things. Any, wait a minute, that's not something I've seen before in Train Sim World. Disabled marked parking spaces. Hello, Class 700. Services are each half an hour in each direction. It's half an hour between services in each direction, I should say. I do like the new skybox that comes with this route. The colours are a lot more muted, but it's realistic. 4.5 miles to Gravesend. So yeah, we're basically 0 to 70 miles an hour. Let's see how long this takes. Yay. One thing I like about routes with rail singing is that even with trains that are like rail singing actually being a feature, it still works. Like, you can take any train in the game on a route that has rail singing enabled and it'll still work. I love that. Wish Dovetail would backport it to all of the older routes, but I think that would require quite a lot of work in order to get it to work, because these routes with rail singing were built with rail singing in mind. Approaching Who Junction, and not WHO, it's HOO. Before you start the jokes in the comment section. So yeah, the only wagons I've seen here are the Cargo Line Volume 2 HOAs, which is, yeah, basically for any of the cargo runs to show up, besides the like, you know, like the light loco runs in the shed. Basically, you have to have both Cargo Line Volume 1 Petroleum and Cargo Line Volume 2 aggregates. Those are the two which you need. So you're motoring along at 70 miles an hour. Bunch of farm crossings through this section. Sheep. The new animated sheep, ladies and gentlemen. Two miles to go. Do love the vastly improved scenery. This route is beautiful. It's not as... Ooh, that's an actual lock. Neat. With a narrowboat in it. Very nice. I didn't notice that before. Warning boards, hook up the power, and let's get minimum power on the go, minimum brakes on the go, because that's enough to slow us down very gently. Also, another thing I like about Medway is it's so well optimized. I'm basically running 60 FPS constantly unless there are a bunch of trains in the area. Ooh, basically perfect braking from yours truly. That's pretty impressive. Double yellow. Start slowing down gradually for that 30 limit. We also have this giant building over here. Viewers, I'm not too well versed in buildings, but that looks to me like possibly a Sikh temple, but if I'm wrong on that, please do correct me. Certainly eye-catching and wasn't there in Southeastern High Speed, that's for sure. I think it might be a Sikh temple, but if I do get that wrong and I've offended some of my viewers, I do apologize in advance. No offense intended. Alright, Gravesend. Coming up. 400 yards. There's the 465 sitting in the bay platform, waiting to go off to Victoria or Charing Cross. So yeah, you could drive those on Southeastern High Speed as far as Dartford, but yeah, you can't drive them on this route. They're just AI because this is the western edge of the Chatham Main Line. That's the route hop marker to, what is it, Southeastern High Speed? So yeah, this service would actually be drivable further on Southeastern High Speed, as far as Dartford 2. Get the DRA on, since we are standing at a red signal. Wait a minute, I just noticed something. I got 700,044 twice in a row for 2 recordings. That is very ironic. For same unit number, both recordings. That's either a bug or I got incredibly lucky. Shutting doors. There we go. Lost 97 points to speeding, but still got a platinum medal. Very nice. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video when I upload it. If you want to go the extra mile towards supporting me, please do consider becoming a channel member to get access to exclusive content. And that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.